Welcome, or wrist, and welcome to another review. Now, when we think of a moonwatch, many of us immediately conjure images of the Speedmaster, but there is another, the Bulova Lunar Pilot. Although its name is not as legendary, its story is the stuff of legends, and according to legend, the mighty Omega Speedmaster experienced a sudden failure, paving the way for the Lunar Pilot to aid in the Apollo 15 mission, an opportunity that would see the watch transcend the limits of Earth. Here are the dimensions and specs. It has a case diameter of 43.5mm, a lug width of 20mm, lug to lug of 50mm, a thickness of 13.5mm, and a water resistance rating of 50 meters. Looking at the dial, the Lunar Pilot has a geometric sensation, as its layering of components at different height levels emphasizes the shape of each element. The applied indices are tall and profiled in a rectangular fashion, donning what looks to be a bead blasted finish with no bevels or fancy decoration, giving them a sharp and distinct appearance, prominently standing on a matte black circular platform which hosts the recessed subdials. Now these subdials feature a ripple pattern which radiates from the center and incorporates clever use of sunburst finishing to create further contrast from the main dial. A channel bearing the minute track runs along the edge of the center, creating a cavity between the main dial and the tachymeter, which towers over everything like an impenetrable wall and brings it to the forefront. These varying levels of height add a huge amount of depth to an otherwise plain black dial, making the watch incredibly interesting to look at. Not only that, they serve as a way to differentiate each aspect of the dial to make them easily identifiable. By introducing height differences, the Lunar Pilot creates natural distinctions between its components and does a fantastic job at filling out the space beneath the crystal. The text, numerals, and tracks are all done in a crispy white color, contrasting well against the dark backdrop and ties in well with the white hands for maximum legibility. A difference to note between the subdials is the numerals for the seconds are found inside the subdial at 6 o'clock, while the other numerals are positioned outside of their respective zones. In terms of lume, it can be found on the hands and hour markers, but the hands are noticeably brighter than the indices. Even then, the lume overall isn't too great. Facing head-on, the bezel appears thin, but turned to the side and its true form can be seen. It's brushed with a very tall stature in the cylindrical form with a very slight, almost non-existent decline angle from the top of the edge. Just like the bezel, the crystal presents a flat profile protruding from the bezel with a very thin bevel along the edge. Together, these two aspects really add to the overall thickness of the watch. Looking at the case, it's a simple, polished case with a curved profile, giving it a soft appearance, one that contrasts the sharp transitioning lines of the bezel and crystal. Although the case is polished, it's not overbearing or overly flashy as one might think. The large dial opening really takes up a large portion of real estate on the timepiece, which helps to limit the reflective surface of the case, giving the watch a look that works well as the flashy case complements the matte dial. The shape feels familiar, yet at the same time evokes futuristic appeal, like a streamlined, sleek spaceship. The case back is solid and reminds you of its history, a nice touch, and symbolizes a medal of victory. The pushers and crown are also polished, just like the sides, and as you can see, it doesn't curve or contour all too well, which can leave the watch feeling a little flat on the wrist. The bracelet continues the rounded structure of the case with curved links, featuring brushed flanking links and polished centers in the standard 3-link format. Now, what I like about this bracelet is the inclusion of a quick release mechanism. It's not fancy by any means, but it's simple and works extremely well. It does what it's supposed to do without doing too much, and is a welcome addition, especially in this price point. Not only that, these end links fit extremely well to the case, following the same lug curvature, creating an almost seamless flow. Its finishing also works well with the polished case, as the center links help to link the two components together to form a cohesive unit. For those of you who are looking for a tapered bracelet, you won't find it here, and I think it would have looked much better and felt a little more refined with one. The clasp is a butterfly style clasp that operates smoothly and is quite satisfying to open due to the natural weight of the bracelet aiding in its deployment. Unfortunately, you won't find any micro adjustment here, which can make it difficult to find a perfect fit. However, we do get some half links to play around with. On the wrist, the watch is heavy, the watch head is heavy, and the bracelet is heavy, but they balance the watch nicely. On paper, even at this reduced size, the watch sounds bulky, and it is. However, the wearing experience is quite surprising. It's very comfortable and feels quite nice on the wrist. Its polished case and rounded shape also help to hide its diameter, making it a lot more wearable than anticipated, with most wearing issues arising from its rather long lug to lug. Being a quartz watch, the accuracy is going to be amazing, and this one takes it up a notch with a 262 kHz frequency. To add to its cool factor, activating the chronograph function is a spectacular sight, as you can see the hand at 3 o'clock zooming at a tenth of a second. Something about all these different hands moving at the same time just puts a smile on my face every time. Resetting the chronograph will also give you some eye candy. As you can see, the dials reset in a slow motion. Not as practical, but so awesome to see. The Lunar Pilot has definitely made a name for itself. It's incredibly accurate, it's been to the moon, and it's placed in an enticing price point, proving that you don't have to spend thousands to get your hands on a moon watch. It has a touch of flashiness, which makes it feel at home in a modern world, yet retains its historic image. Sure, it's a little large and can be bulky at times, but it's an absolute machine. The Lunar Pilot is a fantastic timepiece, and I don't see it as an alternative. I see it as a competitor. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more watch content. I'll see you in the next one.